However, this is regarding Skip Bayless's tweet because a lot of people went after him because of what he tweeted. Skip Bayless said, "No doubt the NFL is considering postponing the rest of this game, but how? This late in the season, a game of this magnitude is crucial to the regular season outcome, which suddenly seems so irrelevant." Now, he later said, "Nothing is more important than a young man's health. That was the point of my last tweet. I'm sorry if that was misunderstood, but his health is all that matters. Again, everything else is irrelevant. I prayed for him and will continue to." So, do you think that people were making too much of a big deal about Skip's tweet? Do you think it was taken out of context? Or what are your thoughts on this?
Well, the first couple sentences of the tweet, the first couple sentences were very insensitive, were very callous when he said, "How can they stop the game? It's crucial," and all this nonsense. It was not in view of this man's life is hanging in the balance. So what he was saying was very crude and insensitive. Now, the last piece of it, when he says the game suddenly seems so irrelevant, it seems like maybe he was starting to take stock of the words leaving his mouth and he wanted to rein it in. So I don't know where Skip was coming from, but I will just say that was a moment of craziness and insensitivity. And as Skip has been known to do and say things insensitive and foolish on many occasions, I will say call him on it, call him on it, make him aware, okay? Because you sitting there, 70-something-year-old man, who has lived a long life, making crude and sensitive remarks about a 24-year-old kid. So it was very insensitive, and he needs to be called on it, and he needs to be more thoughtful and more caring before he opens his mouth.
I agree.
So needs to be much more thoughtful. So I feel he needs to be called on it, and then when he responded with an apology and a different level of awareness, now let it go. That's what I say.
Okay, I'm going to follow up with that with another piece to it. But I will say that I agree with you completely. This should have been completely about Damar. Nothing at that point, the game was irrelevant. The NFL has announced that they are not postponing the game this week. And nothing has changed with the week 18 schedule. We don't know. They're not thinking about that right now. They're just concerned about or for Damar and his family.
Right.
So the flip side of this is that Skip Bayless came on his show, Undisputed today, the next day after the tragedy
after the
Damar,
event. Yeah.
right.
Yes.
And he made this whole speech. He said, "Oh, I didn't know if we were gonna do the show, if I was gonna come on, da 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 da." So anyway, he pretty much is doing the show by himself because Shannon Sharpe did not show up. If you were Shannon, would you have shown up today? Shannon did not show up. Skip did the show by himself. Now, we don't know if there was a reason other than Shannon didn't want to deal with Skip today, or, he was feeling so sad or down, or if there was some other stuff that he had pressing going on. We don't know.
Okay, see, you know what? Here's the thing about it. We don't know what all transpired. We heard clips and excerpts and so on and so forth. Shannon heard the full scope of everything. Shannon heard what was said on and off the mic. We did not.
No, Skip tweeted that. That from last night was all tweets.
Oh, tweet. Oh, okay. Oh, I'm sorry. See, I didn't know. I thought it was their show live. Well, I don't know. I don't know still. Once again, it's still the same kind of thinking because we don't still know what all, because they do work together. And, and it isn't necessarily just the one thing. It could be the accumulation, the accumulative effect of everything that Skip has said. I don't know. And then it could have been just that Shannon felt like he wanted to take the day off. It could have been just everything. And he said, life is short. I'm, not dealing with it today. I'm taking the day off. And it could have been many, many things. It could have been that he hasn't been feeling well and decided to take the day off and take care of himself.
Mhm.
It could have been any number of things. So I don't know unless he made a declaration as to why he was taking the day off. I don't know. I
Right.
mean, we're sort of, just sort of presuming a bunch of things. I don't think
Mhm.
we really know why he took the
We
day off.
have no idea. We're
Right,
just
right.
it was trending
Well,
on Twitter.
was he just so frustrated and annoyed and disappointed with Skip that he took the day off? I don't know.
Well, that
Because
could
Skip,
happen quite often.
well, yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. But after a while, you're flexible, you're flexible, and then after a while, maybe you just completely bend or break. You can completely break. I don't know. Maybe it was the straw that broke the camel's back, and Shannon just said, "Look, I'm not." Maybe he won't show up anymore. Maybe he'll just take a brief vacation. I don't know. Maybe he'll be back tomorrow. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe he'll
Yeah.
be probably he will be back tomorrow. A lot of people were just
Probably
saying
he
that
just
they
maybe he just needed a breather from the nonsense.
yes, and it was trending on Twitter.
Well, let me
Fire
say this.
Skip.
Now, let me just say this, just in general. I still didn't answer what you said to me, daughter. Just
Okay,
in
my bad.
general, would I take off? Let me just say this. You know me and you know my history of, traditional employment. And you know that if I'm, concerned or upset or not feeling just quite right, that I would take off. Okay. So let me just put that in perspective. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So, in general, generally speaking, if I'm not just right with situations, yes, I would take off.
Well, you said traditional employment. This here, our
Well,
platform that we
well,
have is not
well,
traditional.
this is non-traditional, but it is employment, And if I was, frustrated, angry, protesting, whatever, I would take off.
Okay. Okay. I thought that if I was Shannon, and I don't know, like you said, we're speculating, but I would have been frustrated with Skip in general, and I would have
Yeah.
had to take that time for myself, for my mental health, because
And then you
I
know
wouldn't
how
want to deal
Shannon
with that.
is. Shannon is no shrinking violet. Shannon likes to talk. And Shannon, when he sees Skip is old enough over there to be his father and half his size, and it just might have not been good. So so he decided to
I,
take off.
I agree.
You take off, no harm done. You go in, it might not be good.
Right.
It might not be good.
Okay. All right, so we will move on, and hopefully Skip will. This will be a big lesson or a good lesson for Skip because he is always coming out of his mouth really insensitively, really inappropriate. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and check out full episodes of the Bamgboshe Happy Hour podcast, streaming on most platforms.